Well, no Happy Tuesday video tomorrow. In fact, I got some things to do today. Um, Tomorrow I gotta head out to Hartford, Connecticut for transport. It's like 3 hours there. I gotta get someone back here and he's wheelchair bound, so I'll be using the facility van rather than my Acadia. Uh, so I'm gonna be tied up. Don't want anything to do with this. And I was gonna do this tomorrow, a little follow up. And in fact, I was on the phone with Dave down at DSE Racing. I was on the phone with him a little early this morning. And then he had an unexpected visitor. He had to cut it short, get back to me, and then something came up with me. I got to go out. So I texted him back, hey, listen, I'll get back to you tonight. I'm going to be out for a while. And I'll get this out of the way now. Just a couple little follow-up things. I noticed it during Job as, video proving to everyone how much he knows. All he did was make himself sound like a fool. Half the time, Job, you didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about. I don't know much about some things. So let's say I jump on YouTube and I look up that category and I watch a guy with a video. Yeah, you do the, Okay, that's nice. Do you know what it means? I'd have no fucking idea unless I actually had hands-on experience doing it and went through the trial and error period of learning the knowledge that's acquired by actually hands-on experience. Reading and watching something only teaches you so much. So until you get your hands into it and you have a long-term experience of doing things. That's what matters. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, you learned the words. You're like a parrot. You heard people talking, or you read words. Okay, and try to remember it. You even confused yourself. You didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Oh, well, I'm going to get the... I'm doing it the way, well, I can visualize his expression. You couldn't see his face, just his hand in that engine. It's going to show off that 283 and that Bel Air. Well, you get the exhaust valve closed on the number 2, or is it the number 5 piston, just when the intake is starting to close, and then you had no idea what the fuck you were talking about. You had no fucking idea. It's obvious. You had a hard time trying to think about what you went to the fucking hospital for. Come on, guy. Even that you had to stop and think about. What was it? Oh yeah, I had a... And I heard you got hit with some questions. Somebody asked you, hey, how come you didn't start it up? And your excuse was, oh, I can't start it up because it's got an oil leak in the base pan. Hasn't that been leaking for a long time? Isn't that one of the first leaks you talked about while you had an issue? Besides vacuuming. First was vacuuming. Engine was all rebuilt. I did it, and I'm the only one that's ever done it without having to take the engine out of a car. Remember that? You had an oil leak in the base pan. You never fixed it. Now, in order to do what you're doing now, that engine's going to have to be run. And for more than a fucking minute. It's going to have to stay running for more than a minute. Several people know. It's a real simple way to do it, especially with hydraulics. You need to have it running, though, for more than a minute to be able to do what I told you. And many others, I'm sure, will tell you the same thing. It's not rocket science. It's a real simple way to do it without overcomplicating it. You wanted to overcomplicate it to make yourself sound fucking smart. And all you did was make yourself look stupid. But you can't start it. That was your excuse. Like Sanford's always got an excuse. Man, you're more and more like him. You are your own worst enemy, just like he is. Every time you open your fucking mouth, every time he opens his fucking mouth, they give people reason to say, wait a minute, man. What are you talking about? I know about cars. Well, obviously you don't. So that was your excuse why you didn't start it. Why haven't you fixed that fucking leak? Why haven't you fixed... You said that thing was all rebuilt. It was perfect. You rebuilt it, and after all, man, you did it the only way no one else ever been able to do on YouTube without having to take the engine out of a car. And, just had a vacuum leak. That's why it ran like shit. And you had a screwdriver jammed in the car right away because you try to keep it running. Even then, it couldn't stay running for more than 10 seconds. How come you never fixed the vacuum leak? How come you never fixed that base pan leak? Now you got a leak in the timing chain cover. That thing's leaking all over the fucking place, man. It's bleeding to death. Maybe that car belongs in fucking intensive care on life support. We can oil, we can fuel, we can brake fluid. What else? And then, got 3 nuts on the fender. So that's where you had to get into your lithium grease and really show your expertise. And I love the way he does it. With a cocky arrogance, like, I know something you don't, you know. You know, these nuts in the bottom, you know, you got to put lithium grease. You heard me right. It's the way he says things and what he says. You heard me right. I said lithium grease. Because I saw a guy on YouTube talk about yeah, they got to hurt. That's mostly used for, you know, a brand new, fresh engine build. Everything's new. Nothing's really coated, you know, with any oil, any lubricant. You prep some surfaces, but that's only just for startup. Like I said, anybody else will tell you that lithium grease, this shit's washed away within a couple of minutes. Once that engine's running, it heats up. You know, the oil, it's pouring on it. You know, on that rock around in that little gully where that nut is in there. That thing gets filled up with fucking oil. Oh, it gets lubricated, and all that lithium grease is gone within 5 fucking minutes. You know? But you stress the importance of that. You don't seem to stress the importance of fixing anything on that fucking thing, you know what I mean? From base pan leak to gas leak to brake line leak. You know, getting that coat hanger off that fender that's being held on by. Fixing that interior that looks like a family of raccoons has been fucking breeding in there for fucking decades. Everything's all chewed up and fucked up. 2 busted windows, you know, on the side, shattered windows, buckled hood, you know, cracking paint. You don't seem to be too concerned about fixing anything on. Yet you say the car was restored. That's what kills me. You say it's restored. Really? Oh, I took these 3 nuts off, and then the camera goes off, and then he comes back. You know, I noticed it. Several other people noticed it. They say, wait a minute, he's using that thing as a fucking trash can? Oh, and then I came back. I saved you the time of having to watch me do all the rest of the adjustments. Yeah, like, all you did was put those 3 fucking nuts back on it. And that was the end of it. You took them off just for a demonstration to sit them on a fender so you could talk about how much you know about lithium grease, right? They went back on when the camera cut off. You didn't adjust shit. You did not adjust shit. And you know it. Just like Sanford, once again, you know, doesn't show how he talks about, oh, I fixed this, I fixed that, but he doesn't show him actually doing it, you know, and then come to find out other people did it, like with the flex plate on that black Jeep, the first X-ray, you know. Oh, I got it for a steal on Marketplace. The guy thought it had a bad engine. I knew it was just a flex plate. I can fix that easy. He sent it to a fucking transmission shop. He didn't even fix a fucking flex plate. You're worse than him in a lot of ways. You know, you're worse than him in a lot of ways. But the same ego, same narcissism. But your stupidity level is a little higher than his. I got to give you credit in that. You outdid Sanford in one category, stupidity. And then other people notice too. You must eat a lot of junk food and shit when you're working on that Bel Air. That little area in front of the radiator there. There's what, empty junk food wrappers and shit. A soda bottle, a soda can. Looked like, you know, those little milk containers, you know. You just throw your fucking trash in there. Why don't you turn it into a fucking trash can? You'd be better off. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna amount to shit. But anyway, I got some things to do today. Auntie Billy will be getting in around 6. And I'll get back to Dave this evening after supper. We got a few things to talk about. And tomorrow, real tied up. But I thought about something. You want to have a little fun? Huh? Who wants to have a little fun? How about I put out like a guessing game challenge? How's that? Okay? And I'd like to hear what everybody thinks about this. What you think will happen. Or what you think will not happen. What will happen first? Number 1. Will Sanford run that 10 with Baby Border Rocket? Number 2. Will the Crypt Keeper and Sandy finally build that Save the Children 318, put it on a dyno, make a shitload of horsepower, and raffle it off and make a ton of money and save all those kids at St. Jude's? That's number 2. Number 3. Will Jabba fix the oil leak, gas leak, brake line leak, get it running. You don't even know how that transmission or rear end is until you get out on the road and actually drive it and find out if they function properly, It's very important for a vehicle. So what if you got an engine that runs and the transmission's fucked up and the rear end's locked up? Big what a good that engine does you know what I mean? Then again. Or number 3, Jobber gets everything fixed. Now he can start it, stays running for more than a minute. He's able to put it in gear, drive it out of his driveway. I'm not going to ask for much here. I'm not going to put too high an expectation on Jobber. Just once around the block. And if anyone should walk out across the street, he's able to stop, hit the brakes, and not run the motherfuckers over, you know what I'm saying? Because the brakes don't work, you know what I'm saying? So what will happen? Number 1, first, Sanford runs a 10. Number 2, Crypt Keeper and Sandy build that Save the Children 318. And number 3, Jobber gets that car running, roadworthy, and he's able to drive it at least once around the block. Which do you think will happen first? Let me know. Have a great day tomorrow. Have fun and stay safe. And Wednesday, I'll see you again. And we can talk about this and share our thoughts on what will happen first, or what will happen at all, or what will never happen at all. See you Wednesday.